made this character for himself, but the reason they like him as well is that he's a fantastic darts player. They know that they might be able to support him all the way through to the very end, and with Gary Anderson as his partner, there's no reason why they shouldn't possibly go all the way. They are the clear second favourites.
Paul Lim, Maurice Lim, like you said earlier on, no relation, but both very good players.
Yeah, they've both been around for decades. Harry was very, very good as a teenager. Paul Lim, we know, is predominantly soft tip now, but still a hell of a competitor. But you just think that Gary and Peter are going to have just too much for him.
Raucous atmosphere in Frankfurt. Scotland, Singapore, Rod Harrington, Nigel Pearson.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, well, you have to fancy Gary Anderson and Peter Wright to be right up there in this World Cup of Darts, of course. Gary, fresh from his Dubai Masters victory last week. This man, a remarkable character, 63 years of age. Boom, what a start! Paul Lim, his fourth successive World Cup appearance. Reached the second round last year and in 2014 as well. 63 years of age, has played in 21 World Championships. It's a 9-darter in the BDO Championship 27 years ago. This man, Harry Lim, World Youth Masters champion some 21 years ago.
And this man, Gary Anderson, beat Michael van Gerwen last week in Dubai in one of the best finals, if not the best final I've ever witnessed, both over 110 average. And although this is a relative short distance, you would think that the consistency in the power scoring of the two Scottish players should get them over the line. However, against the throw, 81 after 9, not too shabby, Nigel.
Well, it's unbelievable. They can go out in 11 darts and break through with the first leg of the game. It's just not happening for Gary Anderson and Peter Wright so far. Now we have Harry Lam, mainly a soft tip player these days. Double 14 would have left double 12, so there's no drama here, although Gary will be looking to hit the big number to just put some pressure on. Should Paul Lim not take it out on his visit to the board. Tops for Paul Lim then, the oldest player in the World Cup of Darts, to give Singapore a one-leg lead against the throw.
Cannot afford to let the Scottish back to the board, and he hasn't done that. A breaker throw. Is it too early to talk about an upset? Well, this would be the upset of all upsets. Spain beating England all those years ago up in near Sunderland. This would be, wow. And Paul Lim is in that treble 20 again.
81.
Now, can Gary Anderson hit a couple of trebles? Only a ton. Well, what a start for Singapore. Winners will face Spain in round 2 after their backs to the wall victory against Japan earlier.
60.
Spain were looking in trouble at one stage there, big trouble, but they managed to claw it back. Now snake bite. UK Open champion, plenty of support in the crowd. Premier League runner-up. That was a much needed and well-timed 140. They could break back here, Scotland.
Well, he certainly made himself into a character, Peter Wright. It doesn't matter where you go in the world, he's got a great following. Japan last year, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. And this man is probably one of the most prolific treble 20 hitters I've ever witnessed. He's certainly the rhythm, and he's sticking with these. He's changed the darts, but it's got a taper at the end because he said his finger fits better than a bullnose, just because he holds the dart with one finger on the point.
60.
And certainly, it's working.
Peter looking to set up Gary Anderson as best he can. Because Anderson will be back.
54.
Lose 86 I should say. Now a 140 for Singapore would put some pressure on. Paul Lim's the man to do it.
Yes, and I was surprised Peter Wright didn't go for a 25 there to leave Gary Anderson 80, which is a guaranteed dart at double top. Whereas he comes back on the 86, he may only get one dart at the bullseye.
45.
However, Paul Lim has not put any pressure on, so it will be treble 18. 18 bullseye. He's just looking at what they're... He's got to go for the ball.
46.
Wow. That's why he hesitated. He's saying, I don't think they're going to get it, so I'm going to leave you 3 clear.
Well, it was a gamble worth taking.
62.
Not sure he'd have done it with Paul Lim waiting. Now Peter Wright for tops to level it at 1 leg apiece. Break back immediately. Straight away, no problem. Level pegging. And Scotland have the throw here. Only 60 for Anderson, though.
I actually couldn't believe that Gary Anderson didn't go for that bullseye. In my opinion, if your opponent or opponents are on a checkout, you've got to take that chance, because there will be one day when they step up and take that checkout. And that could be the real hurt in the match.
Hands up if you predicted a 5-0. Penultimate match of the evening here.
60.
And so far, only 60 apiece for Peter Wright and Gary Anderson.
Also, what happens with quick throwers, you know, like your Anderson and Peter Wright's not slow. You know, when you're playing a singles match, you've only got a little bit to wait. Here, you're waiting a lot longer. And it's just harder to get into that rhythm. Once we get out of this first round and move into singles, obviously it plays into the what we call the bigger players' hands. But at the moment, them breaks can be hurtful.
Oh, he's playing quite beautifully, isn't he, Paul Lim? Can he hit a second 180? Fills it up! Well, who would have thought that in the third leg of this game there would have been 2 180s scored, and neither would have been for Wright or Anderson.
Singapore you require.
Well, here we go for Harith Lam. 1986 World Youth Masters champion.
41.
And an opportunity for Anderson now.
One for tops. Oh, and he's gone low and pulled it. So Paul Lim comes to the board, and the way he's playing, first dart just above, second dart in, or just plump it straight in. Perfect first dart from Paul Lim.
Playing beautifully. Playing quite beautifully.
From first, came on.
Wow. 2-1 Singapore lead. We haven't had a leg that has gone with the throw yet in the 3 that we've had.
85.
Will Anderson and Wright be rattled, Rod?
Well, the answer is yes. And it's the rhythm more than anything. As I said, this break in between throws is quite a lot. Especially Anderson. Anderson likes to, you know, literally run the yoke. He throws 3 darts and get out of the way. That's why he loves playing the Van Gerwens or the Adrian Lewises. You know, he keeps his rhythm a lot better.
Anderson and Wright, 2 of the top players in the world right now. Not just by ranking, but everywhere they go, they are right up there.
Well, he keeps picking off that treble with his last dart.
100.
A big chance here for Singapore to take a two-leg lead. No, not a big enough, is it? Just opens the door again for Scotland to get back in the match.
Yeah, Snakebite will be looking for a big one here. Picture of concentration. Nice second dart.
130.
So,
134.
could we be seeing another leg that's going against the throw? Singapore really making Scotland work here. Paul Lim. Scotland are going to be back here.
94.
Gary Anderson is the man
Scotland requires
for 71. 14 would leave tops. One dart in hand for double top, and he's pipped below again.
Singapore, you require
For 3-1 Singapore now. Harith Lim. There's the target. Hits it! Singapore 3, Scotland 1.
Scotland the front first.
And Singapore are 2 legs away from dumping Scotland out of the World Cup. And 60 points on the floor for Gary Anderson. Are we in for the shock of shocks, Rod Harrington?
Well, it would be a total shock because I was tipped these to win it, Scotland.
18.
Paul Lim, you have to say, Paul Lim is playing quite beautifully. You know, literally every visit, he's finding a treble. This is where the Scots have really got to start finding this treble 20. Is this the start?
140.
You know, the averages are similar, 92 apiece, as you can see. Finishing is far superior where Singapore are concerned.
60.
I can tell you it's 60% checkout rate for Singapore.
46.
Well, in
Only
the earlier,
25% for Scotland. There's the difference, Rod.
it is. And in the earlier legs, Gary Anderson was scoring quite well, and Peter Wright wasn't. And now Peter Wright's just seemed to step it up a bit, but Gary finding it hard to find those trebles. However, this man Paul Lim is not having a problem at all. That's his 3rd maximum in the match. And against the throw, they've got a 3-dart clearance.
Yes, and Kim Huybrechts hit 4 180s in Belgium's win against New Zealand. And Paul Lim, at 63 years of age, has hit 3 180s as Singapore are 3-1 up against Scotland and looking to set up here. Oh, what a start that is here from Harith Lim. Got a switch here, surely. Yes, 18. Perfect darts. And an opportunity for Paul Lim when he comes back to give Singapore a 4-1 lead. And then have the darts for the match. Can you believe it here?
Singapore, you require 40.
This is tense now. Double 5 for Paul Lim.
The 4th time this evening, a team has had darts to take that 4th leg, and they've missed and end up losing the match. And can Peter Wright punish him? He's going to get 2 darts of the treble 20. Now it's 1 dart. He's got to find that treble 20, and he's failed. Now the hardest thing here is to hit the big one.
Yes, the split, and I think that's what Paul Lim was more annoyed about. Split it. Double 2 now. Not far away at all, but Scotland still have an opening here now. Gary Anderson to hold the throw. Tops he needs, and tops he gets. Well, Singapore, you could argue, would have never have had a better opportunity for a 4-1 lead. 3-2 the scoreline now. And Scotland are still alive.
Yeah, I think Paul Lim's face there, grimace, said it all. But he's experienced enough. He needs to put it at the back of his mind and get on. But this man, Gary Anderson, now has got to start hitting this treble 20.
60.
Well, each one above the treble 20. Nice first dart from Harith Lim.
100.
10 will do. Now, what can Snakebite do for Scotland here? It's a good start. First 180 for Scotland, maybe?
100.
Sixth 1040.
Well, it keeps him in the leg. Yeah, they've got to hope that Paul Lim has a visit without a treble. And that's low, so he's going to have to switch. Well, again, Paul Lim picks off, this time 2 trebles.
Scotland are still in a bit of trouble here. Gripping stuff in Frankfurt tonight. We still have one game to come. Wales and Finland follows this.
60.
England play tomorrow. Netherlands play tomorrow. Home nation Germany as well. Big night tomorrow here in Frankfurt.
Singapore, you require 126.
Well, he doesn't need to go the 19s route because they've got 6 darts from here. So he should go for the treble 20. Paul Lim is old school. Now 18s is the route.
58.
But you know what? Scotland could be led off again here. But Anderson's got to put some pressure on. Harith Lim may only get 1 dart at the double.
Singapore, you require 68.
Crucial time in this game again. Can Singapore put the 4th leg on the board?
16 would leave double 16 here.
52.
Well, this is an opportunity now for Peter Wright to pull Scotland level. .20 would leave the bull. Treble 20 leaves double 5 to level. Oh my goodness.
Singapore, you require 16.
Paul Lim now. Double 8 is the target. Outside the target, got to come inside, and he does! And Singapore are 4-2 up on Scotland! Pressure on Scotland now. And Gary Anderson cannot find a treble 20, he's got to switch across. Gets it with his last dart.
Getting frustrated is Gary Anderson, and you don't see that too often. 1 leg away from one of the biggest upsets in the World Cup. Scotland fancied to go all the way by some certain people, Nige.
Yes, sat not too far away from me here, I do believe.
100.
Well, we remind you of that shock 7 years ago when Spain put out England. Can Anderson and Wright save the day here?
60.
Not for the first time. He's above the treble with all 3 darts, Gary Anderson, tonight.
Mind you, they're only 1 breaker throw down. They've got to throw in this one and in the last leg if they can get there. So and that's a big result for Scotland. Now, Peter Wright, this is where you step up. Give yourself daylight.
Slack. Very, very slack. And they're still not on a finish. Singapore still favourites then to kick on and win this.
60.
Trouble is, Nigel, I think Singapore are thinking about the finishing line.
Yes. This is more like it from Gary Anderson, switching. That's vintage Gary Anderson now. Got to fancy them to get this leg on the board.
This 18s is not a given.
100.
If you split it and have to go for them 9s, it's cost so many people, so many legs and matches. Well, that's the perfect guide, so just clip the barrel. Oh, now we're over to the 9s again.
18.
Well, the finishing is remarkable.
Singapore, you require
Scotland down to 22%. There's big nerves here. Needs a couple of treble 20s. Oh, that's a slack second dart for Harry Flaman. Third as well, he's made a real hash of that.
Scotland, you require
Double 9 for
18.
Anderson. Can you believe that?
Singapore,
This
you require
is a
100.
chance to win the match and put Scotland out of the World Cup. It's Paul Lim, the oldest man in the tournament. Needs the treble, gets the treble. 2 darts in hand, tops to put Scotland out. Oh my goodness! What a shock we've got here! 2 of the greatest players in the world are going home after the opening night of the World Cup. It's Paul Lim and Harris Lim with a super Singapore special in Frankfurt.
The number 1 seeds, Scotland, are out of the World Cup of Darts. Paul Lim celebrating 63 years of age. Singapore slays Scotland. Let's hear from them now, talking to Rod Studd.
Guys, Hereth, Paul, thanks for talking to us. I mean, I can see your faces. It's just a wonderful picture of joy. Listen, Paul, you've had some magical moments in darts. We know about those. How does this magical moment compare with the others?
It is. I tell you what, this is the moment, because I think it's so much so it's not representing yourself, but it's for a country and all that. And it is an honor. I mean, to represent a country is the biggest thing ever, you know. So for me to win this one in the first round against Scotland, it was actually like a dream come true anyway, you know. So.
Just tell us about that 100 finish. I mean, the first dart was perfect. How did you feel after that first dart went in with 2 at double top?
You know, actually, in fact, is that when they actually had that shot, when Gary was left with, well, no, maybe they had shot on double 18, double 9. And when I tell myself that it gave me the shot, you know, I said, you got to make use of it, because like I said, we miss a lot of chances. We make a chance before, and to me that was like, when they give me the chance, I have to take it. That's all. So I got it. I got lucky there anyway. So.
How much did you enjoy it, Hereth? It was fantastic up there.
I'm just the best supporting actor, so I'm feeling so good now. Thank you so much.
You may be the leading actor in the next round and the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. It's a partnership.
Yeah,
So we've been doing this for so many years. So I think we take it one leg at a time, one game at a time. That's what it is, yeah.
But to beat the number 1 seed, Scotland, featuring number 2 and number 3 in the world and the former world champion, I mean, that's a phenomenal achievement, isn't it?
You know, it is actually, in fact, when you know, we were excited about draw, but when we knew that we draw Scotland first round, I mean, honestly speaking, we know it's going to be tough regardless. You know, Gary and Peter, I mean, they're one of the two of the best players in the world. And but on the other hand too, is that I always say that in any tournament, if you beat the number 1 seed, somehow or other you become the number 1 seed, you know. And I always feel that the pressure is always on them. But a best of 9 leg as a doubles team, I really feel that it is a bit a different combination. So me and Harif have played together for quite a long time, so we are used to each other anyway. But like I said, it's anybody's chances. So you know, it worked out that way anyway.
Different format in the next round. You have to play singles as well. But how far do you think you can go now?
As far as we can. Thank you so much. Yeah.
We're really looking forward to seeing you play the rest of the tournament. You've given us great pleasure and great joy, and the smiles on your face are fantastic. Thanks, lads.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.